trying to be the president. You know, that's not how we're gonna get our power. You know, but there'll only be Israelites in the Republican. I mean, in the Senate, in the House. You know, and in the White House. That's not how we're gonna get our power. We're gonna get our power when Yahweh Shah comes back. You know, and takes these other nations out of power. You know, it says. Let's see. Salakia. Sirach 16:13, it says, the sinner shall not escape with his spoils, and the patience of the godly shall not be frustrated. Make way for every work of mercy, for every man shall find according to his works. The Lord hardened Pharaoh that he should not know him, that his powerful works might be known to the world. Right? So that, and he does the same thing with these 2/3, you know, to give us an example of how not to be, you know. And what these 2/3, they're not going to get it. They're going to have to be bowed down in the kingdom of heaven. It says his mercy is manifest to every creature, and he has separated his light from the darkness with an adamant. Right? You can't mix this light with darkness, you know.
It's mix other philosophies up with this. This is the truth.
God.
Well, Steve never.
It says, say not thou, I will hide myself from the Lord. Shall any remember me from above? I shall not be remembered among so many people. For what is my soul among such an infinite number of creatures? Behold, the heaven and the heaven of heavens, the deep and the earth, and all that therein is, shall be moved when he shall visit. You know? And that's basically saying, even though we're one of 7 billion plus people on the planet, he still watches everybody. You know, he still knows everything that everyone's doing. You know, you can't escape from him. You know, even if you turn out all the lights, you can't escape from him. You know. Let me see one second. It says, the mountains also and the foundations of the earth shall be shaken with trembling when the Lord looketh upon them. Right? So, hey, when the day of the Lord comes, you know, that's the time of judgment, you know? That's the time of judgment for what you've done, you know? And if you thought you could hide from the Lord, how you gonna hide when you see a chariot up above and you can't see the sky because it's blocking out the whole sky? You know, it is the sky now. It's the new sky. You know.
Well, you know, just to piggyback off that real quick, this is Sirach, chapter 23, verse 19. Such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. Are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men and considering the most secret parts. So the Most High sees the wickedness that everybody does, and the righteousness.
God.
So everybody's works are going to be accounted to. You want your works are good, not wicked.
God, you want to be found, you know, found doing, you know. God.
This is Revelation chapter 20, verse 12. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before the Most High, and the books were opened, and another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them, and they were judged, every man according to their works. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire.
Because at that time, you know, that's Israel not going to be able to die. There's not going to be any persecution anymore. So all the ones that were persecuting the elect of the nation of Israel, the 1/3, they're going to have to die, you know? You know? because hey, that's getting us the victory. You know, we don't have to worry then. You know, that spirit won't touch us anymore. Death will not touch us anymore. You know.
And that second death is the nuclear missiles. Right. The first death was the flood. Right. Now the second death is those nuclear missiles, and that's what the lake of fire is going to be. Because lake of fire, America's going to be the lake of fire.
We got to get that 2 Peter 3. Get this real quick. Because we're talking about the men of Israel, you know, talking about temptation, but and this judgment that's coming. But hey, this judgment's coming to the heathens too, you know. Obadiah, verse 15, it says, "For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thy own head. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been." Right? Because they're going to be taken out of power so incredibly. It's going to come so quick that it's going to be confused. How, hey, that's the deal with the newspaper. Right? It's going to be so quick, and it's going to be kind of immediate how they're going to be taken out of power when Yahweh Shah comes back. So it's going to be like they never really reigned, you know, because it's not going to matter, because our kingdom is going to be forever, you know.
I got a scripture.
Oh, that's it, man.
This is Luke chapter 10, verse 18. And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven.
God. And we see it incrementally, you know. But when the RFID chip is mandatory, which is the mark of the beast, it's gonna be over with. You know, there's gonna be no chance. You know, these Edomites are gonna, hey, when they come down and we get that, when they come down upon us to persecute us and we get that spiritual power, you know, there's nothing to play around with anymore. You know.
We won't just be those crazy niggas on the street corner that y'all thought. Right? Most High willing.
God, Most High willing. You know, that we endure unto the end. That's what we're talking about. Now we should get Sirach 2. But let me get this real quick. This is Galatians 5. And I'm going to start at 16. Right? Because what we go through these daily temptations, you know, where it could seem easier to stop believing in Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah, just so what you can have these friends, you know, and deal with these people and not have controversy. Where if they say something about the scriptures, you just agree and be silent, you know, and don't even speak up, because as soon as you speak up, speak the truth, it's a problem, you know, because it is the truth. You know,
or dealing with a man's woman, she's throwing it at
God.
You know what I'm saying?
You know?
It's just easier to take it, right?
God.
Right, but that's wicked. You get destroyed for
that. This is Galatians 5 and 16. It says, "This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would." Right? That's why, hey, there's a you can't come out, you can't have sex on the Sabbath and such, you know, because that's a spiritual day. You can't have sex before you come to camp, because that's we are the temple, you know. We are represent Yahweh Shah, you know. You can't be unclean, you know. And that's really the flesh warring after the spirit, you know. It says, and you got to get used to that, you know. You got to realize, and that's what counting the cost is, you know, because you're not going to be able to fulfill everything you would want to, you know. Hey, even your flesh, you could be tired, you know, you could not be feeling good, right, just so you don't have to go to camp, you know. That's the flesh torn with you, you know. It says, "But if ye be led of the Spirit, ye are not under the law." Right? Because what? The spirit, Salakia. Here.
Well, listen, and there's been days, you know, personal testimony, there's been days I'm like, dang, you know, I'm tired, I don't want to come out here, but some of the most spiritual things happen on the days you don't want to come out.
Because Satan knows what's going to happen. Satan knows, you know? Because we could go through a stretch of time where we might not get any action, nobody's coming up, you know? And then we might be feeling down in the spirit, you know, but we end up still coming out on camp. That same day that we almost didn't come out on camp, we met another brother with the same doctrine, you know? So hey, it's all a spiritual thing because we're going through these temptations, you know? And the harder we fight in the spirit, the more satisfied we're gonna be with the spirit, you know? And we're cutting off the flesh. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to cut off the flesh, you know? Because this flesh is wicked, you know? And the Most High doesn't have pleasure in this flesh, you know?
Oh, well, you know what? Say that.
This is Galatians 5 and 19 it says, or Galatians 5 and 18 it says, but if you be led of the Spirit, ye are not under the law, you know, because hey, we do these things to the best of our ability, you know. If we was having to follow the law completely, you know, we wouldn't make it, you know. We understand what's going on, that hey, Yahweh Shah is coming. We gotta believe on Yahweh Shah and do the things pleasing unto Yahweh Shah. That's why it says kiss the Son lest he be angry, you know.
Hey, and these wicked Christians, see, they have a false understanding of what grace is. They think you can just do whatever the hell you want, and as long as you believe according to them, even though that's not really true belief, because you know what I'm saying, they think you can do whatever you want to do, and we know that's not the case, right? You got to strive for perfection.
It says, now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these. So if you're doing any of these, you gotta cut it out, right? Adultery, right? Fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness. Can we get look up some of these words?
Sure. What you want, lasciviousness?
God. Actually, no. We'll start at the top. Let's get adultery.
All right.
Actually, let's get in the blue letter.
Oh, okay. So what verse you in? I want to get
Galatians 5 and 19.
This is the word adultery in the Greek. Outline of biblical usage: to commit adultery, to be an adulterer, to commit adultery with, have unlawful intercourse with another's wife. Of the wife, it's to suffer adultery, be debauched, and Hebrew idiom. The word is used of those who, at a woman's solicitation, are drawn away to idolatry.
Yeah, and the women the woman is talking about is the nation of Israel.